Let's jump right in. Every massive technological revolution usually starts with a pretty simple blueprint. And in this explainer, we're going to look at something truly fascinating: how a deeply intimate, personal memory of human kindness is literally being engineered into a global technological ecosystem. We're going to explore how core concepts, specifically autonomy, predictability, and low cognitive load, can scale, how they can grow from a single, everyday interaction into a massive worldwide architecture that's actually designed to support human regulation, and ultimately eliminate everyday burnout entirely. All right, let's dive into this. So in this source material we're looking at, the author shares a specific memory called "But It's My Birthday," and it perfectly captures the profound impact of offering control to someone without any pressure. The author, who is autistic, talks about a friend named Janet. Now, Janet greeted almost everyone with a big warm hug, but with the author, she always paused and asked first. If the answer was no, she just accepted it immediately, no judgment. Sometimes she'd jokingly say, "But it's my birthday," just to keep the vibe warm and friendly while still totally respecting those boundaries. It wasn't about persuading them, it was just this incredibly gentle way of making the person feel completely safe. Now, to really understand why Janet's adjustments mattered so much, we have to talk about what's known as the perspective gap. And along with that, the deep, sometimes paralyzing anxiety that comes with unspoken social expectations. Think about it like this. Imagine the sheer exhaustion of trying to navigate a super loud, crowded room when you have a splitting headache. Now, imagine that feeling is just your baseline reality every single day. That kind of puts the perspective gap into perspective. The text points out something crucial here. Often, the hardest part of an interaction isn't actually the physical touch itself. It's the heavy, heavy expectation that refusing it might upset the other person. Janet's brilliance was that she quietly just removed all that pressure. She proved that you don't need a PhD in someone's neurology to make a meaningful difference. You just have to ask instead of assuming.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. We can actually extract that exact empathy Janet showed and codify it. We can build it into 3 specific design pillars to create what the framework calls the gold standard of interaction. First up is autonomy. This just means you are always in the driver's seat of your own experience. Second is predictability. This completely eliminates the guesswork because the environment responds in a way that is safe and always consistent. And third, low cognitive load. This basically means the system takes on the burden of decision-making for you. Janet didn't make her friend guess her reaction, right? She made it clear, she made it consistent, and she kept it remarkably low pressure.
Which brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy we've really got to adopt moving forward. It's laid out explicitly in the Adaptive Regulation Platform's mission. Environments and systems must mold to the human nervous system, not the other way around. For way too long, we've all been forced to adapt to loud, demanding, totally unpredictable environments. I mean, think about pretending open-plan offices are actually good for our focus. We all know they're usually not. This human-first philosophy flips the script entirely. The technology is actively designed to learn your baseline and then adapt its behavior to keep you regulated. It completely stops asking you to manage your own symptoms just to fit the technology. Just contrast the chaotic, fragmented reality that millions of people face daily, dealing with this constant sensory overload and that creeping, inevitable burnout. Contrast that with the stabilized, independent life made possible by this gold standard environment. We're talking about replacing a world of messy, disconnected coping strategies with a fully integrated ecosystem. It swaps out the exhausting need to manually manage your symptoms with automatic, intelligent adaptation. This is exactly how you take the empathy of a friend pausing for a hug and scale it all the way up into an entire room that automatically dims its lights the moment it senses you're getting stressed. So, moving from the micro to the macro, this intimate standard of empathy literally becomes a global infrastructure. It's called the Adaptive Framework Architecture. And yeah, it might sound highly technical, and honestly it is, but remember what it's actually built to do. It's designed to scale empathy. From governance checkpoints to complex engineering ecosystems to behavioral frameworks, every single node on this massive network exists for one reason: to ensure that technology serves the human nervous system flawlessly and securely. And the wild thing is, it all grows from one single foundational root, AFA-001, the vision start point. This is the primary entry point that establishes the core vision and purpose of the whole architecture. By placing this vision at the absolute bottom, the very foundation of the network, it guarantees that the human-first philosophy is structurally inescapable. Basically, any new product, any algorithm, any smart device that gets developed higher up in the chain, it has to trace its lineage right back to this unwavering commitment to human regulation. No exceptions. Following this implementation path is fascinating because it reveals the precise technical journey from a high-level philosophical framework all the way down to a physical product you actually wear on your body. It kicks off at the foundational adaptive framework architecture. From there, it travels up through the Aries infrastructure, which acts as the technical scaffolding. And finally, it hits a critical junction called the wearable milestone merge point. This is where all those complex engineering and behavioral standards finally converge into tangible, physical products that a person can interact with every single day. Let's zero in on that middle step for a second, the Aries infrastructure. This is the invisible, stabilized scaffolding that guarantees that predictability and low cognitive load we were talking about earlier. You can kind of think of Aries as the digital nervous system of the built environment. It's the connective tissue. It's what allows a smart shirt to seamlessly talk to a smart desk, making sure the entire ecosystem is working together to support you. Because without this infrastructure, honestly, you just have a bunch of random, disconnected gadgets. But with it, you get a cohesive, highly intelligent support network. And powering this entire infrastructure is an intelligence engine. It operates in this continuous, seamless loop, pulling in multi-layer data. So we're talking physiological, environmental, and behavioral data. Then a mix of AI and human insight analyzes all that data to really understand your unique regulation profile. It can actually recommend and trigger intelligent interventions. Imagine walking into an environment that realizes you're stressed out before you even consciously register it yourself, and it just autonomously dims the lights or cools down the room. And the best part? Your data always remains totally private and under your control. It just works tirelessly in the background, specifically for you. The thing to really grasp here is that this isn't just a single cool gadget. It represents a total paradigm shift. It's a modular ecosystem designed to scale seamlessly, from home spaces to workplaces, and even into healthcare and education. Because think about it, if you only fix someone's home environment, they're still going to face burnout the second they get to work or school. This platform is built to evolve with you. It includes physical environments like specific regulation spaces, intelligent monitoring tech, therapeutic accessories, even clinician-informed software. Basically, the empathy moves with you, from your living room to the office to the hospital. When we look at the wearable milestone merge point, we actually see this physiological harmony in action. Picture a sensory-safe smart garment, totally tagless, super comfortable, that quietly monitors your heart rate and respiration. If it detects that your stress levels are creeping up, it feeds that real-time data directly to a focus pod. And in under 60 seconds, that pod automatically drops the lighting, neutralizes the background noise, and tweaks the temperature to completely prevent sensory overload before it even has a chance to happen. You didn't have to push a single button or even ask for help. The ecosystem just knew and it adapted to what you needed. Or, hey, consider this super relatable workplace scenario. Imagine wearing a really discreet smart ring that's tracking your heart rate variability. It can literally whisper its findings over to your smart desk surface. Now, the desk is already paying attention to your typing force and your posture, right? So it can provide these incredibly subtle, distraction-free haptic nudges to help you fix your alignment and reduce fatigue. It essentially saves you from that dreaded 3 p.m. desk slouch. It takes the cognitive load of remembering to sit up straight entirely off your plate, which means you can just focus completely on your actual work. This idea of scaling empathy even extends into our relationships. There's this concept for a parallel relationship device that actively helps two people align their communication patterns. It helps them recognize emotional trends so they can grow together without any weird power dynamics or hierarchy. It even reaches down to our basic biology. Imagine an intelligent water bottle that tracks your hydration and your grip strength using these really gentle LED visual reminders to make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. These tools are all about building positive habits and fostering deep understanding without you ever having to actively stress about managing them. And the proof is absolutely in the data. By scaling this predictability and lowering cognitive load across all these different devices, we are seeing massive, measurable improvements in human resilience. We're talking pilot programs showing a 38% reduction in stress and anxiety, combined with a 32% jump in focus and productivity. Overall well-being, that skyrockets by 41%, and recovery times are 40% faster. To put that into perspective, when the environment actually stops fighting your nervous system, your body can finally use its energy to thrive instead of just desperately trying to survive. But bringing it all back down to earth for a minute, All of this sleek, high-tech, futuristic infrastructure is ultimately just the physical manifestation of Janet's warm, thoughtful adjustments. Like the author so beautifully noted, Janet's kindness lived in ordinary, everyday moments. She didn't need to be some sort of medical expert. She just respected boundaries and offered a sense of control. This entire technological ecosystem we've explored today, it's really just taking Janet's core philosophy, asking instead of assuming, offering instead of expecting, and weaving it directly into the very fabric of our modern world.
It really is an incredible journey, going from a simple, polite pause before a hug all the way to a deeply networked ecosystem that beautifully regulates our workplaces and our homes. So I'll leave you with this one thought to ponder. If we actually have the technology right now to engineer environments that automatically regulate our nervous systems, at what point does it become a moral failure not to build them? Are we finally ready to make empathy the new operating system of the human race? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating framework with me today.